7, the New Zealand Transport Agency is considering handing out merit points, carrots, to good drivers as part of a potential overhaul of our road safety system. It's also looking at issuing demerit points through fixed speed cameras, which doesn't happen at the moment. So will these ideas do anything to encourage drivers to actually slow down? Joining me now is NZTA spokesman Andy Knackstedt. Andy, great to have you with us. Let's talk about the demerit points on fixed speed cameras. At the moment, that isn't done. It's never been done. Are we seriously looking at doing that?
Oh, good morning, Paul. It's good to be here. Well, look, just backing up a little bit, the research that we've commissioned is really about gathering some more evidence in how effective the demerit point system is in New Zealand, where it works the best, which groups it might not be working with, and if there's a role for, the concept of merit points alongside the demerit point system. So it is really a research proposal at this stage. It's something
We're at the early stages.
Part of that base of evidence that, could be used in the future to make some of those policy decisions.
So it's not too late to nip it in the bud then?
Well, look, if there's good ideas that are out there that are working overseas, we want to make sure that they're considered, and we want to make sure that we've got a good, solid base of evidence that, in the future, when the Ministry of Transport or, Minister of Transport is looking at these kind of policy decisions, they've got, the best evidence that they can to base those decisions
right
on.
Now, let's talk about the merit points there, because, obviously I have some concerns about, as many people would, demerit points going for speed cameras, fixed speed cameras. But let's move on to merit points, which is the more dramatic of these ideas. In Victoria, in Australia, you stop someone for speeding, you look at their licence, and if the traffic officer sees that they haven't had a speeding ticket for forever, or, they haven't come into any trouble forever, they can, on that basis only, waive the ticket. Now, that is similar to the idea of offering merit points in a way, isn't it?
It's similar, and it's, those are exactly the sorts of things that we want, this piece of research to look at overseas jurisdictions that have systems in place that we might not have tried here yet, and to do that really solid research to say, look, this is why these systems are in place, this is where they're working, this is maybe where they're not working, and this is how they might be applied in a New Zealand context.
So is it possible that I could be, because I'm a spectacular driver, as you know, Andy, is it possible that I'm driving along and next minute the lights are going behind me, I'm pulled over, and this traffic officer looks above his sunglasses and says, I just stopped you to issue with some merit points, you truly are a spectacular driver. Is that a possibility?
Well, look, we're getting way ahead of ourselves, Paul. Theoretically, yes, that's, the systems that are in place in some overseas jurisdictions, some of them have, that's part of the system. But look, we really need to do that research. First, we need to look not only at Australia, but we need to look at places like Europe and the United States, where you've got 50 different states doing things differently, and some really good, control groups, if you like, where you might have the same demographic in one state under a different system to the state right next door. So we want to, have a look at what works and what might, be most useful in New Zealand, because really everything we do here is about reducing crashes, it's about saving lives and preventing deaths and serious injury on the road. That's what we want to do. We want to make sure we're not missing out on any good ideas.
It's an interesting idea. The thing that worries me most about merit points is the most likely thing if they came in is they would be awarded to people who just hadn't got into trouble for X amount of time. Say every 2 years you haven't got into trouble, you get 20 merit points or something like that against your licence. So someone like Hillary, who I don't believe is as good a driver as me, has just been lucky and she hasn't got into any trouble. She could get merit points while I'm over there cranking up the demerit points.
Well, I couldn't possibly get in the middle of a debate between you and Hillary about who's the better driver, Paul. But those are the sorts of issues, obviously, that would have to be worked through really carefully before any of those policy decisions were made. Yeah,
and like people who drive really slowly and hold us up on the road, but never appear in the stats because, of course, they're never stopped. They're just scourges on the earth, but they could get merit points.
Well, if you look, we've actually got things happening in New Zealand now in the insurance industry. Tower Insurance has got an app that you can sign up for, and if if the data from the GPS in your phone shows that you're driving at safe speeds, that you're not accelerating too quickly, that you're braking, your following distances are good, you'll get a lower premium. So that's a pretty sensible thing. And
I'm a bit worried about people looking at the data on my phone.
Well, look, let's be clear. That's an insurance company that's doing that privately with their customers. That's not anything we're advocating here.
Dodged a bullet there. Andy, thank you very much for joining us. We'll follow this with a lot of interest. Thank you.
Thanks, Paul.
Andy Knackstedt, NZTA spokesperson. He's been the NZTA spokesperson forever.
And he does a fantastic job too. Yeah.